Okay, as I said before, there's 3 ways to get a Nexus, okay? We're going to cover all 3 of them today so you know which lane you need to be in at which phase you're at in your claim journey. Okay, so direct connection is what most veterans do right out the gate, right? So this is, you've got something you're claiming at the VA and you've worked with a VSO, you remember going to sick call, you've got your records and you're combing through them and you see something in there. So you file that, you win it, as long as you have the diagnosis. Remember, you've got to have the diagnosis and the Nexus to win a claim at the VA. So what is a Nexus? The word just means a connection between 2 things. That's all that means, okay? So when you're dealing with the VBA, they want to know how is the condition you're filing connected to your service. So there's 3 ways. The one I was just describing is direct. So that's something in your service treatment records, your STRs, is documented. Now you go get a diagnosis of whatever that something is. So now the VBA sees that thread between those 2 points and says, aha, that's a Nexus, boom, claim awarded, okay? So these are feet, ankles, knees, back, tinnitus, sometimes mental health. You know, these sorts of things are usually, or can be, direct connections. In other words, your military service not only caused it, but documented it, and you still got a chronic condition. So you file that, you win it. You don't need any help with those. Next, number 2 is secondary connections, okay? So what this is usually a legal document written by a medical professional using the VBA's own language that illustrates how the condition is connected to service. So these are things, headaches secondary to tinnitus, GERD secondary to mental health, sleep apnea secondary to mental health. That's how you win these conditions and go from, say, 60 to 80 to 90 to 100. Those sorts of steps, it's all secondary, okay? So you don't need anything documented in your military service record, okay? But you do still need to have a diagnosis and a Nexus. It's the same 2 components. The only thing that's different here is the logical medical connection point. So for instance, a lot of vets get migraines or headaches secondary to tinnitus. Tinnitus caps out at 10%. Migraines caps out at 50%. So it doesn't matter if it's primary or secondary for a compensation perspective or percentage award. What matters is it a logical medical connection? Did this cause that? That's all that is. So you need a legal document written by a medical professional that illustrates, using the VBA's own language, how the condition is connected to service. So those are secondaries. And the third option here is presumptives. Okay, so presumptives, they go by the name of PACT Act, Blue Water Navy, Agent Orange, Burn Pit Registry. These are all basically acts of Congress. So what that does, it allows the VBA to assume that your condition was caused by when and where you served. So what happens is this, like on the PACT Act, there's a list of conditions. On the PACT Act, there's a list of geos, locations, right? And on the PACT Act, there's a date range or list of date ranges, right? So if you have those 3, if you have a condition served in this geo during this time, the VBA basically gives you those 3. Those are gimmies. They bring those to the table for you. You still got to have a diagnosis. So you bring the diagnosis, now you've got all 4 components for a presumptive service connection. So if you've got, like, the PACT Act is mostly full of, you know, some respiratory issues, digestive issues sometimes, and some skin cancers, predominantly. There's some others mixed in there, but those 3 make up the majority of the conditions listed in the PACT Act. So say you have rhinitis, developed because you're exposed to burn pits and it's covered under the PACT Act. So now you go get diagnosed with chronic rhinitis, allergic rhinitis, something along those lines. Now you've got that diagnosis. It's on the list for the PACT Act. You served at a time and a place that is listed on the PACT Act. So now you have all 4 elements, and what that allows the VBA to do is assume that you developed this condition because of when and where you served. So those are the 3 ways to get a Nexus. Presumptive, it's act of Congress, you still got to have a diagnosis. Secondary, caused by your other service-connected disabilities, still got to have a diagnosis. Now you need a legal document that expresses this explicitly to the VA. And then direct. If it's in your service treatment records and you've got a current diagnosis of it, chances are you've got a great chance of winning that, and you don't need any help with it. All right, thanks for watching.